Well, we're still working on the bathroom tear out, but today's a new day. Had a little bit of a weather change. About 25 degrees today, so a little chilly, especially with no heat working inside the house still, but you know, once you get started working, it's not so bad inside. But again, becoming kind of a pressing issue to have some heat worked on and get functional. So rapidly moving up our priority list here. So just thought you'd like to see the snow here. It's I don't know, maybe an inch or so, but they're expecting a couple more inches this evening. And school was canceled today, and from the looks of it, I doubt we'll have it tomorrow either, but we'll see. Alright, so we're back in this bathroom, and I'll show you where we're at now. We're trying to remove all this subfloor that's rotted and messed up, and I've begun getting under some of this, but it's stuck down, glued down, and screwed down, and it's just awful trying to fool with this. So this is the main reason I bought this oscillating tool. The plan is I can cut straight through this subfloor flush with the plate there in order to replace this. An interesting note here, you can see now that looks black here. Actually doesn't look that black on the screen, but in person it looks black. But this is not actually mold. This is tar paper. Now I'll talk about some of this later on with the history of this house and everything, but what's happened is this basement was built first, lower level, and then they just put a flat temporary roof on here, and so this used to be the roofing material, and then they've built the 2 floors above this after the fact. So that's why that all looks black, but that's not actually mold. So it's not nearly as bad as it looks over here. So anyway, we're going to get started on trying to finish up getting rid of this subfloor. Okay guys, we are underway here. Got a little bit cut out. And let me see if I can show you how we're getting along here. So our new tool here is working pretty good. Switching back and forth between some blades on here, trying to get this cut off flush with the edge. And for the most part it's working pretty good, but problem I'm having, let's see, I showed you a while ago some of that roofing material over in this area. And you can see all this black stuff up on the side there. That tar paper or whatever it is, when I'm trying to cut that, it gets hot and sticky and just gums everything up and makes it extremely difficult to cut that off. So that's the difficulty I'm having over there. But luckily I think that stuff is just going to be in this little section here, and I think the rest of it in the rest of this room here shouldn't have much more of that. So hopefully we're about done with that issue. The rest of it will go a little easier. Also, this joist here is kind of closest to some of the worst damage. See, here's where the toilet was sitting. So here these two joists, the one right under this area and the one right here, were the worst ones. And I was thinking they might be okay and not need any replacement or additional support, but that doesn't seem to be the case once I got this uncovered. The top piece of this was in a little worse condition than I thought. So we're probably, at minimum, we'll have to put another joist alongside this one. And I'm guessing this next one over here is going to be about the same, but we'll see what it looks like when we get it uncovered. So, and my process here, I'm cutting around the edge there like that, but then to get this off here, see, this is 2 layers. Let's see if I can show you. There, you can kind of see it's 2 layers of plywood for this subfloor. And it appears that the bottom one is nailed down, and then this top one, if you can see this, if I can get this to focus, well, it's not really wanting to focus very good, but anyway, these little heads sticking up here are screws with kind of a star head on them, and there's, I mean, a bunch of them. All those screws are holding down this top layer. So it's pretty difficult to take. Oh well, the other thing about that is I can't get my driver in those screw heads because I can't get it to focus to show you, but the screw heads are full of I don't know if it's floor leveler or grout or what it is, some type of material like that from the tile that was on here. The screw heads are all full of that. I can't get the driver to seat in there and drive pull those screws out. So I'm having to pull up both layers of this subfloor at the same time, and it's a little more difficult. So so far I've taken the Sawzall there and just cut straight across through both pieces and pulled up a couple of strips at a time. So I may kind of have to continue doing that all the way across, but we'll see. Hopefully it'll get a little easier once I kind of get in more of a flow. But it's been pretty slow going so far. So I'm pretty well finished up in here. Now there's a few more things to do, get these plumbing things pulled out of here still. But as far as tear out, we're pretty much done. Now as you can see, these 2 joists right here are pretty rough, and they've been cut right there for that pipe to go through, which is not good. I'm not really an expert on these engineered joists by any means, but that just doesn't look very good to me. I think that greatly reduces their strength having that top piece cut. So those 2, and then this one isn't in very good shape either, and possibly this one. So we're going to at least do 3, possibly 4 new joists alongside these old ones. I don't think we're going to try to remove these old ones. We're just going to finish cleaning them up, make sure there's no mold left on them, and then we'll put some new ones in there beside them. And so that's kind of where we're at. So I forgot to mention those screws that I couldn't get my driver to engage and back out. I was able to get a couple of them engaged and unscrewed, and I found that they weren't super long, and they weren't long enough to go through both layers of the plywood and down into the joist. So I was able to just grab those with the big crowbar, rip them straight out of there without hurting the joists. And so that's how I got those out. And then I was able to take the 2 layers of plywood up individually after that point in much larger pieces instead of just the small strips. And so that's how I got the rest of this out of here. I already threw the trash out, so I can't show you any more of that, but that's kind of what I did. So if you liked what you saw today and you want to see how this continues to unfold as we move forward, go ahead and subscribe if you'd like, and we'll talk to you next time.